What's up YouTube? Arkabu here. The retro gaming community has changed a lot over the years and it's only getting better. But that's what got me thinking. When and how was I exposed to this retro exploration adventure? And I do recall. So it's time to reminisce those memories at the storytelling table. It all started from 2015 when Nintendo, Sony, Sega released their mini consoles to the market. These mini consoles were the replicas of their 90s gaming system in the 2000s, but with improvements. Out of all these systems, I went to the market and I got my favorite one, where I spent majority of my childhood time, and it had a fantastic library. That is the Super Nintendo. This one is the North America version because it has the purple and the gray color mix, which looks very beautiful. Now we were talking about improvements. The first one is the size. So they're called mini consoles because when you compare it to the original, this is what you get. The second improvement, it was preloaded with classic titles. And you can switch through them very easy and don't have to do the manual swap like this. You take out the cartridge and you put in another one. And we also had problems sometimes with the connection, and we would really have to use our lungs and blow on this connector to make the game work for us. The last improvement was their output, using HDMI. So this made it easier connecting to the newer TVs or displays. All we needed was one cable. If they didn't have this, if we had the original system, we would have to use a converter to the HDMI because the original used the RCA cables, which needs yellow for video, red and white for audio, left, right, right, left for the stereo. So those are the improvements of the Super Nintendo Mini. Now, for me, I'm not very good at reading instruction manuals because they're very small print. So I decided to go to YouTube and let's see what others are using features of this device. And as I was browsing through that content, I found something called modding, which means you're able to add even more of your games to this device. It has great classic, but there are some titles that are not included in the preload. So by doing that, looking into that, I came across another tool, Retroarch. Now Retroarch allows other systems to be played within this system, so making this jack of all trades. Now that led me to another mini console modding, which we'll talk about soon. But first, let's end it off with the Super Nintendo. It has great titles and classic that remakes are still being made today based on this era, and the control layout. I love the 2 triggers on the top and the 4 buttons. To understand more of Retroarch, I went through content on learning what a core is, shader, overlay, control mapping, upscaling, all that fun jazz. And that got me introduced to another development, actually 2 to be precise, AutoBleem and Project Iris. And that is for this mini console, the PS Classic. The PS Classic was introduced in 2018 and it didn't do well in the market due to one reason. The preloaded games just didn't vibe with the community. So with AutoBleem and Project Iris, the main objectives was to help user upload their favorite games in their library, in their collection to this device. Now for myself, I chose Project Iris because it was easy for setup, updating, and configuring. AutoBleem is good, so it really comes down to user preference and how you want to set this device up. Now with the setup of Project Iris, I was introduced to another development, and that is front-end development. We have so many multi-system here, but we need to be organized and systematic and also pleasing for the eyes. Otherwise, it just doesn't look good. And that was my introduction to Emulation Station. What a beautiful software, able to click on the game list and see the box art of the game before you play it. But to do all this configuration, we need add-ons to this device because we need to connect to the web. And that is why Project Iris did a lot of work, same with AutoBleem, to get these things into these devices via the USB. So my PS Classic undergo a change and I will show it. And feel free to comment down below how you feel. So for here, let's start with the USB port. The USB port allows us to use the 8BitDo Bluetooth adapter, so we could use any Bluetooth device to play our games. For me, I use the SN30 Pro. And then going back here, since we need a lot of ports introduced to the OTG USB hub to be able to connect more. So here we got the Wi-Fi adapter so we could connect to the internet. And then we got a USB flash drive for increasing the storage. And then obviously you can add stickers for decoration. And there you go, a decked out PS Classic. So once I was fully set up with this system, I thought to myself, this is amazing time. Able to experience all those great memories on the display, very compact form. But there's limitations. Need a display or a TV to connect to and need external power. Now, we don't have that when we're in the car, on the bus, traveling, or in the lobby waiting. So that's where searching more Retroarch got me into another direction. That is retro handhelds. Handheld device for retro gaming was a wonderful concept. For user able to play games in the comfort of their hands, anywhere, anytime, really breaks those chains of being locked, requiring a TV display to hook up and external power for your console, like those mini consoles. So I thought to myself, all the issues I had after I fully set up those mini consoles goes away if I get a portable device. So I went to the market and there was my new challenge. Which one to buy? After doing some studying, I came down to three. The Powkiddy X55, Anbernic 505, and the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. The first one I took off my list was the X55. Although it was highly talked about in the community and people really like it, for me, the joystick at the top wasn't the sell point. I prefer my D-pad at the top. So shout out to Retroid for giving users the chance and choice purchasing a unit where D-pad is top or bottom. So then my choices came from 505 and the RP3 Plus. Both wonderful device, same screen size, running both on Android. So the real deciding factor was the trigger buttons. I like my trigger buttons up and down and not side by side. And that was the only deciding factor where I purchased my first unit, which is the RP3 Plus. And here it is. What a beautiful device. First thing I would like to talk about is the coloring scheme. I just like these transparent colors, and this turquoise one, I love it. Good job. D-pad feels great on the thumb. The only awkward is the start and select button. It's up in the corner, but after a few days of playing on this device, you can adjust. And then obviously the triggers, up and down, being digital. Mainly play the stuff that's PS down, so I really don't require the analog kind of feedback. These are perfect. Joysticks are nice. The only complaint I had with this device is the buttons. These buttons are a little bit small and the feeling is not as great on the fingers, but Retroid has improved on their new release of RPS 2S, the 4 Pro, RP5. I haven't got my RP6 yet, but I'm pretty sure they're the same buttons and they feel amazing. This chipset is able to bring you all to PS2 lightweight games, not the 3D ones, but I mainly use this device for PSP, Game Boy Advance, and SNES. I still use this device today in 2026, although I do have the RP5, this is still my go-to unit. Well, that's it for how I got my first Retroid portable device. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next one. Same place, same time.